series. Obviously, you might know the other one, the other Ace Attorney games where you play as Phoenix Wright. There's also ones with Apollo Justice, and these ones are with Miles Edgeworth. Obviously, Miles Edgeworth is prosecutor, not a public defender, so it's a bit of a twist on the series. I haven't played these games in absolutely years. This is a new collection that's just come out, so we will have a go, play, and see how it is, and see if it's as good as I remember it being. Why is there no sound? Oh god. Well, you can hear me, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the music down, because the music is rather loud, isn't it? There we go. Hopefully that's a bit better. I just do want to go through a few things. You can change the art style to the old pixel art or the new HD. I'm gonna leave it on the HD because that's the whole point. You can change the soundtrack as well. But yeah, what we're gonna do, we're gonna start with. Oh, there's a second one. The second one wasn't released in outside of Europe, so this is the first time it's been released, but we are going with the first one, so episode 1, Turnabout Visitor, let's go. I got an achievement already. Playing the game with the HD characters. Oh, March 14th, 1:16 AM. Make sure the defendant is found guilty. What other choice do I have? That's the job of a prosecutor, after all. That may be true, but why? Why go this far? Sorry, maybe I wasn't clear enough, but a guilty verdict is all that matters to me. No matter what it costs. I'm a prodigy among prosecutors. Always have been, always will be. I can't remember his name. I remember him, but I can't remember his name. March 14, 2:05 AM, Prosecutors Building, 12th floor hallway. Dog barking over nothing. There we are. It's hard to believe that I've been away from my office for a whole month. I hope Detective Gumshoe's been keeping an eye on my office and keeping it clean. The door is unlocked. Detective Gumshoe? What's this smell? It's very familiar. Blood? What the? Dead body? What's the meaning of this? Freeze! Identify yourself. Shut up. You got some nerve committing murder in a prosecutor's office. Is that a threat? Let me make one thing very clear. What? No one gets away with committing murder in my office. No one. That's the thing I do like about these games, is they actually show you who the murderer is, and you've got to kind of work your way up into proving that they're guilty. My name is Miles Edgeworth, and I work as a prosecutor in my local district. Little did I know that upon my return home, after a month abroad, I would be thrusted into a multitude of cases and some very frantic and busy days. March 14th, 2:56 AM, High Prosecutor's Offices, room 1202. Finished photographing the victim's body, sir. Very well. Please continue your investigation. Yes, sir. Ah! Mr. Edgeworth, sir. You okay, sir? Keep it down, detective. This is a crime scene. When I heard that murder had taken place in your office, I ran up here straight away. This is Dick Gumshoe. He is the detective of the local precinct, and the one they signed to handle this murder case for the time being. It's always Detective Gumshoe. You're looking at a player, sir. Are you hurt? No, I'm perfectly fine. However... Ah! What they did to your office, it's totally trashed. I'll say, the culprit sullied my floor with dirt rather well. No one gets away with tracking burning into my office. Well, it sounds like you're getting really burned up over this whole thing. This crime was committed in my office, so it is my responsibility to solve it. Ho ho, that's just like you, Mr. Edgeworth. Okay, time to do some investigating. Agreed. First course of action is to gather relevant facts and leads. Let's not overlook anything, no matter how small, if we are to find the truth. So I'll keep any leads or information we find etched into the forefront of my mind. Speaking of things that pique my curiosity, why of all places did the murder occur in my office? I got the nagging feeling that this is something important to keep you in mind. Yeah, I was wondering that myself, sir. I mean, you can't really say it's just a coincidence, can you? No, not really. Especially because of this. Key to your office? What do you mean, sir? If you think about it carefully and use logic, it should become clear to you. Logic? By finding the connection between two pieces of information and connecting them, new information is born. That is the end result of using logic. So how do you use it? First, I'll recall the information we've gathered with the left button. Sorry. And then I connect them together with Y. Now to use LB and recall the facts. Security reasons, all prosecutors' doors are outfitted with locks. It means it would have been hard for the murderer and the victim to get in here. Ergo, it's impossible to dismiss the location of the crime as mere coincidence. Yes, that's exactly what I was thinking, sir. There must be a reason why someone infiltrated my room. What was the killer after? Only on the ball today, Mr. Edgeworth. That's some beautiful logic, sir. Yes, well, when you follow leads to their conclusion, only the truth remains. However, if the information doesn't line up properly, I may stray far from the truth as well. But if I think carefully before piecing leads together, the logic should flow. Well, let's get started with our investigation, shall we? Yes, sir. The basis of any good investigation is to examine everything, so I know that. When I want to examine something, I simply use A when I'm next to it. No, if you ever feel lost and want to talk, just use Y, okay? I'll give you great precise advice as an ace investigator, sir. Something to try later if I have free time, I suppose. There we go, so we've got Y to talk to detective L, left button is for logic. Right button, we've got evidence and profiles. One thing I do... Oh. You can't... That's rubbish. You can't change the art style in-game. There we are, running around. Right. First things first, let's have a look at this gun. What have we here? Could this perhaps be a murder weapon? If so, it would mean that the killer made their escape after disposing of their gun here. That's a bit silly, isn't it? I think I've seen one of these before. Care to enlighten me as to where? Oh, I know. I was issued the exact same model, I think. Detective. I don't really like guns all that much. I mean, they're really dangerous. But now think about it, you do see this model around the precinct a lot, sir. I don't use mine much except in emergencies, so that's why I didn't recognise it. So it's the same type of revolver as the ones used by this precinct's detectives. What was the other logic piece we had? Why did this happen to us, and what was the kill after? Do you have anything to report? Sir, yes sir, nothing out of the ordinary right now, sir. And yet, there's something out of the ordinary right in front of my eyes. Talk about a contradiction. Something out of the ordinary, huh? I should look around a bit more. Oh, what couldn't you just tell me? Well, my desk looks alright. Obviously, we've got the dead body and that over there. If we can solve this case quickly, I'd like to return to relaxing on the sofa. Nothing looks a billion times softer than my mattress at home. Can I sit on it too, just for a while, sir? Detective Gumshoe, you know I can't allow that. Until this case is solved, neither of us has time to spare, let alone rest. You're right, sir. I've got to work hard and be a real trooper to the end. Even once this case is over, I don't think he can afford it to take any time off. What the hell? So I can't... Let's talk to him. How's it coming along? Please, I need absolute silence. Fingerprint lifting is a delicate art. Well, I never. There's no fingerprints over there. It's a good thing my Steel Samurai doll was had any harm. Speaking of which, I still haven't sat down and watched any of that show. What's it about again? Well, I don't know much about it myself, but... The hero of the Steel Samurai, warrior of Neo Old Tokyo, is the Steel Samurai, and his goal is to defeat the evil magistrate. Sorry. It's a show geared towards kids. However, its high production values and riveting plot draws in a number of adults as well. Spinners like Pink Princess, warrior of Little Old Tokyo, and Nickel Samurai, along with a deluge of merchandise and even a new stage show gives it presence. You sure know a lot? Are you sure you're not some sort of rabid fanboy? Of course not. Anyone that keeps up with society knows at least this much. That conversation lasted longer than expected. Let us return to the investigation. My teacup. Killer is going to pay this tea set. Yikes, you're really mad over this. This tea set is very dear to my heart and can only be bought in England. Costs more than your whole month's paycheck. What? Now I feel like the killer's wasted one of my monthly paychecks. Oh God, let me... It's been a while since I've sat at this desk. Oh, how I've missed you. So tidy, it looks newer than when I first bought it. Oh yeah, that thing's so polished that it makes mirrors jealous. Don't tell me you had no other work the entire time I was away, detective. My job is to protect your office, sir. And you did such a good job protecting it that a murder occurred in it. That's harsh, sir. I have to admit the desk is never better, so I guess I can't dock his pay. The files are all over the floor, sir. They probably fell during the struggle between the victim and his killer. Oh, I tried so hard to keep this place spotless while you were away. I mean, this has just rendered all that time and effort I put in pointless. I don't recall ever asking you to clean my room. Well, I watered the flowers every day, just like you requested, sir. I just added cleaning to the list as a weekend special. For about half a day every Saturday, I'd come in and clean this place until it sparkled. Does he have a life? Surely you'd clean it once and then it'd never need to be touched again. Well, look at the bloody handprints! Oh, it's even knocked over your chess set. I had it all set up ready for when you got back. Figured we could play a few games. I had no idea you were interested in chess. I'm actually pretty good at checkers, so I thought I'd give chess a try. In that case, I suppose I can set some time aside after we solve this case. Though I don't expect the games to tax my mental acuity much. So we've looked at everything else, just literally the... Oh, it's your trophy, the Knight of Prosecutors, right? King of Prosecutors. It's not a trophy, it's a shield. They only send this to the winning prosecutor, right? Yes, but I have no real interest in the perceived worth of other people. As for my own worth, that is something only I can determine for myself. That's so slick, sir, I'm gonna have to try saying that sometime. Unfortunately for him, his monetary worth is tied directly to his worth to me. So there's nothing else. Just wanted to check everything before the body. They finished photographing the body, so it should be alright to examine this area. We won't rest until I've inspected every suspicious looking nook and cranny. Hang on, let's have a look at his wallet. What do we have here? Hey, I think I've seen one of these before. It's a police badge, detective. Oh hey, I have the exact same thing actually. What a coincidence. Let's take a look inside. Mr. Buddy Faith, it would appear that our victim was a detective just like you. Seem to have gathered a few pieces of pertinent information. Now to calmly use logic and figure out if any of them are connected to each other. To be fair, the victim was a detective. The revolver. The revolver, the standard model used by detectives. Could it have belonged to our recently departed? Detective Gumshoe, could you please thoroughly check the victim's body one more time? Yes, sir. On it now, sir. Let's see, what have we got here? Mr. Edgeworth, sir. This guy's wearing a gun holster. So it appears that a killer somehow managed to take the victim's gun from him. You're going to be okay with keeping track of the evidence we find, sir? Of course, this is the safest way I know to keep track of it all. Alright, if you say so. I log any and all evidence I find in my organizer. When I want to re-examine a piece, I have but to press right button to open my organizer. But the organizer isn't only for evidence, I keep people's profiles on hand in it too. It's probably a good idea to make a habit of checking the facts often. Let's see what else we can find out about this revolver. As I always say, you've got to look really carefully at each piece of evidence. Use a right stick to rotate. LB and RB to zoom in and out to get at the nitty gritty. I think it's so easy to take a life with just the pull of a trigger. You know, I can't ever see myself really liking guns. Oh, but I love the ones they use at the track and field when you start races. You take off before it's fired, everybody always ends up following your lead. Chase you down for a full start, detective. Now that you mention it, even when I finished first I always wind up in last place. Looks like only one round was fired from this. Wow, so the killer killed the victim with just one shot after wresting the gun from him. Turns out the guy knew how to handle a gun, huh, Mr. Edgeworth? We have no proof for now, but that is a distinct possibility. Hang on. But if he got shot once, he shot at the picture as well. Let's give the body a once over. There's blood all over his lower abdominal area. Looks like the bullet passed clean through his stomach area, sir. In other words, he was shot. Yep. Until the autopsy's done, I don't think we'll know much more than that. Please have the body sucked to the morgue once they've done processing the crime scene. Guess it's about all we're going to find out. We should send the body to Jim! Why, oh why? How could this happen to a guy like you? You're the one who shot him? Are you alright? Don't touch me. Leave me alone. Just let me be. Sorry, I can't do that. The investigation is still ongoing, so please refrain from touching the body. The body? The body? Don't talk about him like he's just some lump of flesh. Look at him. Jim looks like he's just turned in for the night. I'm sure, just in a blood-stained suit, pal. Where are my manners? Aren't you that prosecutor? Ah, yes, I am. Jacques Portsman, prosecutor. Jim here was my partner in crime busting. I'm Miles Edgeworth, and like you, I am also a prosecutor. Detective Dick Gumshoe, sir. So you're Miles Edgeworth? I guess this is your office. Yes, that is correct. And it was you. You're the one who killed Jim. Was it you? Hey, don't go around jumping to conclusions, pal. Just calm down, okay? I will not. I know how things work around here. High prosecutors' office doors all have locks built into them. And only the owner of the office has the key to his her own office door. That is correct. However, I was not the one who killed your partner. Yeah, Mr. Edgeworth has been overseas on a business trip this whole time, pal. And the key to the door was with me the entire time, okay? So the only one who could get in here was me. Ho ho ho. Wait. That means... I'm not sure what that means. So it was you then, you're Jim's killer. No way, pal, you've got it all wrong. Everyone calm down. Mr. Portsman, correct? If you're a real prosecutor, you should know how to stay collected. The investigation has only just begun. Isn't it too early to be drawing conclusions? Alright, I get the point. You're right, my mistake. I tend to get a little too hot-headed sometimes. Sure, I want cool customer though, Mr. Edgeworth. I've heard all the rumours about you. You're the great genius prosecutor. I am. You're something of a legend, you know. Anyway, let's call a truce and work together, okay? Now, how about a handshake to seal the deal? Pleasure to work with you. You guys were conducting your investigation, right? Sorry for barging in like that. Carry on then. It's your room after all. Thank you, I intend to. I just want a little more time to say goodbye to Jim. You there, sir. I want you to capture this scene on film for me. My final farewell to my partner Jim. I should probably give them some space. Ah, your jacket, sir. What's it doing on the floor? Must have fallen off the wall when the killer tried to threaten me by firing a round. So the killer not only shot the victim, but they shot your jacket as well. They dared to shoot the ultra special jacket that you made your prosecutorial debut in. What if they shot through it? It would have been a disaster. It's not worth getting worked up over, detective, not when there's something more here. Huh? Like what? I take it you haven't noticed it yet, detective. There's a giant contradiction right here in front of us. Really? Did I say contradiction? He must be rubbing off on me. I'm starting to sound like him. But I have my own methods and I will conduct this investigation my way. When the scene before me contradicts a piece of evidence or seems off, so my deductive skills come into play. First I have to find the spot that holds the contradiction. This is it. This bullet hole is where the contradiction lies. When I spot something that's off, I should point my cursor at it and press Y with conviction. And when I've had sufficient proof to prove the contradiction, I present it. This is how I do things.
Eureka!
This bullet hole is a contradiction. But what do you mean, sir? It's elementary. 2 shots were fired in this room. First felled the victim, and the second felled this frame. Hey, that's right. However, this gun's only fired once. Hey, that's true too. Which means that one of these 2 bullets was fired from a different gun. Did the killer have another gun prepared for tonight? By the way, I noticed something, sir. Yes? What's that thing sticking out from behind the frame? Ah, that's a secret safe. Secret safe? Oh, I smell money. I suppose the trouble in just saying, nothing like what you're imagining is inside. If you could kindly move this frame out of the way. Roger that. Talk about dusty. I suppose that happens when I'm not in here to dust it once in a while. I'd no idea there was a safe here. I'd have kept it clean for you, sir. So where did you put this thing in? It wasn't something I'd installed personally. Every prosecutor's office has one. Really? I had no idea. Well, only prosecutors are supposed to have knowledge of their existence. So what's inside, Mr. Edgeworth? Right now, nothing. We only use them to store especially important evidence when a trial is in session. That's it. Talk about squashing my hopes and dreams. I won't rest until I've inspected every suspicious looking nook and cranny. Now this is odd. You found something, sir? This keypad, don't you find it to be a bit too clean? Yeah, there's a thick layer of dust all around it, but not on the keypad itself. You there, the forensic scientist. Yes, sir. Could you please test this area for fingerprints? You got it, sir. I couldn't find, let alone lift a single print. Looks like it was wiped down well. As I thought, it appears that logic is the only way around this setback. Time to rationally and calmly connect the dots with the information we have. I believe I've figured out what the murderer was after. Well, what is it, sir? The fact that the safe was wiped clean of fingerprints suggests that the criminal had at least attempted to open my safe, making the culprit's motive for breaking and entering theft, I believe. I wonder if knowing that motive behind this break-in was theft changes what the other pieces of information could tell me about this crime. I don't think so. Ugh, come on. Well, it's all ticked now, isn't it? So... I don't know. It's gonna be wrong. Oh no, right. Oh, there is a possibility. Oh, shit. There is a possibility that the files played on the floor are not the result of a struggle between the victim and his killer. Oh, you mean like it could be from when the killer tried to find something, sir? Precisely. Need to figure out if any of the files have been stolen. Yes, sir. You're gonna shelf files like you've never seen before, even in a library. I'm sure. Let's give that a try. Why do the good ones always die young? Surely you must ponder that every once in a while, Mr. Edgeworth. No matter how much we lament, the dead will not come back to life. All we can do is search for the truth. And, so what are we supposed to do? How do we go about finding the truth? Well, if you move... First, we calmly restore the files to their rightful place. You got it. Here, let me help. Oh. That's how there, but goes there. You sure know a lot about where things go, despite it being Mr. Edgeworth's office. Because I'm the one who keeps it tidy, pal, okay? Done. It would appear that the murder was definitely committed here. The bloodstains on the bookshelf are still fresh. I suspect that the victim was killed in a standing position and the print on the shelf. And then the guy fell onto the floor, right? The blood on the floor is kind of grossing me out. Detective, I don't have time to deal with your weak stomach right now. Ah, but you know I'm no good with blood, sir. I'm certain there's something wrong with this picture. Oh yeah, if he was shot standing up. Was there a bullet hole there? This is where the bullet lodged itself after it went through the victim. The bullets were lodged squarely in the file spine, indicates the files were ransacked after the shooting had occurred. Then I guess the victim was moved because he was in the killer's way. Victim's handprints. He must have tried to support himself with his hands here after being shot. There are prints on the floor too. Those must have been made when, unable to stay standing, he dropped to the floor. After being shot. Oh, so that's why the seat of the victim's pants has blood on it. It would be the logical conclusion. Kill him with the body because he was leaning against the bookshelf. The blood on the guy's pants proves that pretty well. In a sense, I suppose. See? I'm not completely useless, Mr. Edgeworth. I mean, I want to say that.
Eureka!
There's clearly a contradiction here with this bullet hole. Oh, what do you mean, sir? You don't see? Quite simply, the bullet hole itself is too low. The victim was shot in the stomach, the hole should be much higher up. What if the guy was shot while he was sitting or lying down, sir? That would be illogical. The victim leaned against the shelf here after being shot, which suggests that he was standing when he was shot. Then that means, wait, what does that mean, sir? It means you need to use your brain every once in a while instead of mine, detective. In any case, it means someone made a faulty assumption. And it was from this mistake that our current contradiction was born. What is the faulty assumption? What is the faulty assumption that caused this problem with the bullet hole? I want to say the order of the files. I believe the order of the files is a bit off. I mean, I put them back in the wrong order just now. Hey, actually, I think the labels on the files are wrong, sir. Oh? Yeah. You see here, the files that were shot you see here how the files that were shot begin with the number 0. What are those doing all the way down there after 1, 2 and 3? That's really weird. Actually, the way they are organised now is the correct order. They're exactly as I see them in my mind's eye. But the numbers are all out of order. Those white binders are special, so they are arranged a little differently. But from this, we know that the files were not in this order when the crime was occurred. Aha, so that's it. I believe the killer made the same incorrect assumption as you did, Detective. Let's rearrange the files in numerical order and see what we find out. Do you think it'd be okay to prop the body back up to how it was before it was moved? The finished process in the crime scene, so I don't see why it wouldn't be. If you please, Detective Gumshoe. As I suspected, the bullet hole is now where it logically be. The killer went through my files first before shooting Mr. Faith, and then put the files back in numerical order, I guess. Exactly, and then proceeded to shoot the victim. But why would someone kill a man and then look through your files one more time? Puzzling indeed. The files were thrown into disarray twice, once before and once after the crime, but why? Now the crime scene is as it was at the time of the murder. Time to give another look. As I expected, the bullet hole is now where it should logically be, and we figured out that the killer went through your bookshelf twice. Indeed. There are many things the killer did that don't make sense, but to figure out the whys we need more information. This. What is that? Why does it say Gumshoe on there in blood? I'd say that's some incredibly incriminating evidence. Yes, indicative of criminal activity indeed. No, wait, there's got to be some mistake. Mr. Edgeworth, sir, help me say something, sir. It appears that one of my files was stolen. Is that all, sir? What about me and my situation? Is that what the killer was really after? Looks like Jim was able to leave us the name of his killer in the end, and this most important message managed to reach us. I'm telling you, it wasn't me! You can't be terribly pleased to hear that your beloved partner is a guilty party. If you are going to accuse Detective Gumshoe of being the culprit, I sincerely hope you have some proof to back it up. Jim's words. No one enough, wouldn't you say? That's how you want to play it, and at least allow me to understand your reasoning. You got it. I don't know this one bit. There's something strange about this man's attitude. And there must be some sort of flaw to his logic waiting for me to dig out. Mr. Edgeworth, what are you going to do? What I always do in court, I'm going to cross-examine him. One way or another, I'll expose the flaw in his logic with this technique. Oh, how do you do that? Can you explain it to me, sir? Sorry about that. Might as well. Alright, first I listen to the witness testimony. If I find a flaw in the testimony, something that contradicts the evidence, I open my organiser with RB and present the piece of contradictory evidence. To present something, I simply press Y, but that's old news. It's not like there's ever gonna... But it's not like there's gonna be a flaw in their testimony every time, right? Correct. Now those times I need to press the witness with LB. Sometimes by pressing, I can draw out new information or a new or modified testimony. I think I get it, sir. I'll be sure to try this technique out during investigations too. Very well, I'll even show you how it's done. Now watch carefully. Mr. Portsman's logic. Sorry, I'm just going to take a breath because it's a lot of talking. That's what I hate. I love games like this, but I hate streaming them. But obviously, since it's a new one that's not long came out, I wanted to stream it just to see if anyone else was interested in it. Ugh. Should have brought a drinking. Anyway. Detective Gunchu, you stole Jim's gun from him and shot him dead. Furthermore, you messed up the files to make it look like you had committed theft instead. That's when you moved Jim's body that was sitting in front of the bookshelf. But thanks to that, you didn't notice the bloody letters his body was hiding. And it will be by his final words that you will be brought to justice. You intend to argue that the victim's dying message points to his killer. I can hear Jim's voice and he's calling for his killer's arrest. Are you sure you're not mishearing his words, Mr. Portman? There's no way Detective Gumshoe is the culprit here. I will find the flaw in this man's logic and expose it with credible evidence. Well, let's have a look. So we've got the gun. Only they know of them, prints were wiped. That is definitely something.
Hold it!
You know, there's something I've been meaning to ask. What is it? What do you call the victim Jim? And clearly his name is Buddy Faith. Isn't it obvious? Jim is the perfect name for my companion. Jacques and Jim. Don't those two names go together like peanut butter and jelly? Jim isn't even close to the guy's real name. Well, Jacques and Buddy just sounds off somehow. Besides, he was the third of a bunch of guys I decided to nickname Jim. Talks about the victim like he was his pet.
Hold it!
Do we think it was necessary to just shaver my shells twice to do that? That's true. Okay, then maybe his real intent was theft. Hey, are you accusing me of stealing something from Mr. Edgeworth? It's a possibility. Maybe your salary's been cut so much that life is getting a little too rough to handle. I'll have you know that I eat 3 square meals every day, pal. Okay, so all 3 of them happen to be instant noodles, but... Poor thing. What an evil prosecutor you were paired up with. And what a motive, no? That's when you moved Jim's body that was sitting in front of the bookshelf. Why would Detective Gumshoe do such a thing? Because the body was getting in his way, he had to mess up your bookshelf somehow, right? Anyway. Thanks that, you didn't notice the bloody letters that his body was hiding. Why do you think that the killer didn't notice the bloody letters? The body was covering it quite well, wouldn't you say? That's how he missed it. But judging by what I've seen, it doesn't take much for your detective to miss something. Who do you think you are? You know nothing about me, pal. There's a lot a person can understand about another from first impressions alone. Can't say I disagree with him on that point. Oh, you say something, sir. Gasp, not you too, Mr. Edgeworth. Despite its lack of attention to detail, I don't believe the detective to be the culprit. Nobody could have overlooked the bloody letters, and I can prove it with evidence. I couldn't ask for a better setup. For the game finishing Spike. And it will by his final words that you will be brought to justice. I don't know, there's gotta be some sort of evidence. Of course.
Objection!
Objection. When you die, you gotta make sure you point. Yeah, because if you didn't notice the bloody letters, one of the files is missing, so it doesn't make sense. Objection, Pete. Perhaps you're not aware, Mr. Portsman, but there is a serious flaw in your logic. Bringing a bit of the courtroom into this, I see. No problem, I'm game. Can't help but find it odd. Excuse me? Odd that a fellow prosecutor would be brought down by the power of his own office. What? What are you talking about? Oh, you're joking, I get it. Ha ha ha. If you have the time to laugh, then you have the time to take another closer look at this. Do you still not see? If not, may I direct your attention to the missing file? What? That's impossible. What's impossible, Mr. Portsman? Nothing. The files on the shelf are all about a certain case. When the killer went to take the file after murdering your partner, I highly doubt they could have missed the bloody letters written on the spines. It's possible that they could have taken the file before committing the murder. I think it's pretty obvious that the file was stolen after it was written on. The missing letters in the detective's name where the file should be is proof. Yeah, I mean the S is gone. There's only half an H. Detective Gumshoe really was the culprit of this case. I highly doubt that even he could overlook his own name written in blood on the files. Especially as a detective who can't stand the sight of blood. Which means, what exactly? What does that make this dying message? It makes it the work of a criminal intent on tampering with the crime scene. That's so low, I can't believe the criminal tried to pin this whole thing on me, sir. I'm gonna get them, sir, you'll see. I'm gonna have them under arrest in no time. Well, Mr. Portsman. Brilliant, absolutely splendid. Logic deserving of Olympic gold. I appreciate the praise, but it doesn't change the fact that your reasoning is flawed. Meh, you win some and you lose some. That's how life goes. Glad everyone's so cheery, even though I feel more dead than alive. Ah, but you know, it really is a shame. I really didn't want to have to bring this up, however. What is it this time? Are you still after me, pal? Humour me for a second. Who has the key to this office? That would be me. But Mr. Edgeworth just proved that I'm innocent, pal. That's absolutely right, and I acknowledge your innocence. I might have sensed that you still have something to say. Well, I was thinking, did you know there is one other person with a key to this office? One other person? Hey, you there? Yes, sir. What is it, sir? Sorry, just had to message me daughter. Would you kindly fetch and escort that lovely young lady here for me? A lady? The girl is a member of this building's security. Think of her as a material witness. Security? Did you say security? No, stop it, pal. Don't! What's wrong with him all of a sudden? She needs no introduction. I've called upon Miss Maggie Bird. Miss Maggie Bird. A member of security. Detective Gumshoe, sir. Maggie! Miss Bird is a security guard on watch tonight. I see. And your point is? My point is that she could very well have used it. And by it, I mean the master key which can open all the office doors of this building. What? If you're not the guilty party, Detective Gumshoe, and the only other person with access to this room is Miss Bird. How dare you? I would never sneak into someone's room. That's right, I refuse to believe that Maggie's the culprit, pal. It was me, that's right, I did it. Can we take that as a confession, Detective? Well, it wasn't really me, but it definitely wasn't Maggie, pal. So yeah, it was me. If it was, you'd have no problems with that, right? Please refrain from flying off the handle, Detective. There's no need for such theatrics. Listen to your boss, Detective. He understands what I'm saying here. That girl is the only one who could have committed the crime, and for one simple reason. It's pretty obvious that Miss Bird snuck into your room using the master key. I mean, Detective Gumshoe isn't the one who opened the door. Then that leaves only Miss Bird as our prime suspect. On top of which, she knows a good detective, doesn't she? Making it all the more probable that she was the one who faked the dying message. So you're saying she used the master key? Incredibly incriminating evidence, wouldn't you say? That's what you claimed about the evidence earlier as well. That was then, this is now. The flow of a good match always changes during a rally. It's all about your reflexes and reaction time, especially for an athlete like me. I wonder if there was anyone else other than Miss Bird who could have used the master key. Seems the only way to get Mr. Portsmouth to give me more details is to press him. Oh, rebuttal. Let's press him.
Hold it!
Wasn't able to? What's that supposed to mean? Yes, moving on. I'd hate to get sidetracked by something unrelated. What do you mean unrelated? I want to hear what she has to say, pal. But you really can't trust her not to tell lies, plus I hate wasting time. Should I hear Miss Bird out? Yes, ask for more details. Not so fast. I too am interested in hearing what Miss Bird has to say. Didn't I just say it'd be a waste of time? We don't need to hear her lies. I'll be the judge of that, Miss Bird, if you please. I discovered that the master key was missing at around 1 AM, sir. What do you mean by missing? As in it wasn't anywhere in the security booth, sir. The killer must have stolen it. Mr. Portsmouth, I believe this is an important piece of testimony, don't you? Sorry, I can't believe that someone like you would be taken in by such words. I'm not lying, sir. If that's the case, then I'd like to know why you have the master key now. I don't quite know, it just reappeared all of a sudden, sir. Ha! A likely story. And where is your proof that the key was stolen to begin with? But you just forgot where you put it and then found it again. I never lose things, I can practically guarantee that. With me, if someone disappears, it's usually because someone stole it. Yeah, pal. Trust me, you don't want to test just how bad her luck is. Unfortunately, I can't deem this piece of testimony as conclusive. Glad you agree, Mr. Edgeworth. Ugh, but... You still haven't established Maggie's motive for breaking into Mr. Edgeworth's office. A motive? Didn't we already establish that it was theft? I mean, the cupboard clearly went through the bookshelves and at least tried to save. It is as Mr. Portsmouth says, Detective. I can't ignore the fact that all the evidence points towards a motive of theft, but only prosecutors know about the safe. When I'm done taking blows, it's time to counterattack with a few facts of my own. Oh, that was it. But I still want to say this.
Objection!
Yeah, got it right. You wish to continue insisting that Miss Bird was set on stealing something? Why not? It's the truth, after all. It was also by your logic that we came to the whole thievery conclusion. Now, maybe, but you must also be aware of the fact that the safe is a secret safe, the existence of which is only privy to prosecutors. I find it a little hard to believe that the safe was a part of a cunning plan. But she could have found it by accident while she was turning everything else upside down. I hardly doubt that. Let's say the culprit knew exactly what they were looking for. After all, only the bookshelf and the safe were targeted. Ugh. Yeah. Yeah, even I didn't know about that safe, pal. That means there's no way Maggie could have known about it either. Then are you proposing that the killer is a prosecutor? Interesting conclusion. That's definitely looking more and more probable. What's wrong, prosecutor? Do you have a different suspect in mind now? Curses, why? What made you... What's with the angry face all of a sudden? It's all my fault. What do you mean? It's Jim. He knew about the existence of the secret safes. What did you just say? We were partners, like inseparable conjoined twins. That's why I told him. I filled him in on the secret safes. And that means... Yeah, I know. I'd only just told him too. Obviously it was wrong of me to tell him. I still can't quite believe it, but the thief who broke into your room was probably Jim. I was claiming that the victim was the thief. And you simply tried to stop him, weren't you, Miss Maggie Bird? Excuse me? I mean, you are a security guard, right? That's your job. The killing is going a bit too far, even in your risky profession. What the? You're still accusing Maggie of the murder? Yes and no. I mean, she'd stumbled upon Jim, who had probably drawn his gun. I get it, it was self-defense, wasn't it? No, I couldn't. I could never do something like that. Not even as a security guard, sir. Plus, even if he was the thief, he wouldn't have a key to this office. Which is precisely why he had to steal it, wouldn't you say? It was Jim who stole the master key. Ah! Pretty impossible for supposedly stolen key to be here with us unless... No, unless you retrieved it from Jim after you killed him. Mr. Portsmouth. Mr. Portsmouth, are you honestly accusing your own partner of being a thief? I don't want to admit it, but it's the only way for everything else to make sense. Has he no honour? Now then, I think we're done here. The investigation waits for no man. Would you people be as kind as to see yourselves out? You can't kick us out, this is Mr. Edgeworth's office. Ah, but I'm the one who's been assigned to this case. You're all suspects to varying degrees, and therefore ineligible to run this show. Mr. Powell, how many times do I have to say this? Maggie can't be the culprit. Detective Gumshoe, calm yourself. But, sir, we have no choice but to accommodate his request, for now. Thank you, Mr. Edgeworth. At least one of you understands. Now then, if you could remove yourselves from my crime scene, I'd be most grateful. Hang on, there were suspects, but he's personally involved, so he wouldn't be able to do it either. Not my words, Mr. Portsmouth. We will meet again. That's a formal request from the legendary prosecutor himself, and I suppose so. Now don't disappoint me, you hear? To be continued. But yeah, we've been in there ages. What is it with that prosecutor? I can't believe how rude he was. It was unbelievable. Please maintain your professionalism, detective. I'm going to find some real solid evidence proving Maggie's innocent. You'll see, sir. But we've been kicked out of the crime scene, sir. True. So then what now? Looks like my life's fallen into yet another gigantic ditch. So she was a police officer and now is nighttime security. Do not despair, Miss Bird. We can overcome this as well. There are many other places and things we should be looking into anyway. Eh? Really so? For example, this hallway. The linchpin of this argument against Miss Bird is related to the master key. In that case, this hallway is the perfect place to look for more information regarding the mystery surrounding my door. The file! I won't rest until I've inspected them. We don't need to do that. The file's here? It's... Ah! Isn't this the missing 0 series file, sir? No doubt about it, the bloody letters mark it clear as day. There seem to be a few pages missing. Our thief took only what was necessary and left the rest behind. So what are those 0 files about, sir? I guess they've got something worth stealing in them, huh? Not particularly, it's just a collection of court case files. However, cases within those files are not mine, huh? They belong to the High Prosecutor that used to occupy my current office. I have my reasons, but let's just say I was charged with keeping them as they were. And that means the thief must have also wanted the file for a specific reason, right? It would seem so. Only the pages related to that case from 10 years ago are missing. Wonder why anyone would care about such an old file case. I mean, I don't think there's anything else, is there? Yeah, there's literally nothing else, is there? Oh god, it's him. I forgot his name. What's the basketball doing here? That's Mr. Portsmouth's prized possession, sir. I heard he also plays soccer, dodgeball, and even tennis. And not a single one of those sports is suitable to be played in a hallway. So I wonder why was it moved indoors? I don't remember exactly, but I saw one of the officers drag it up here recently. Drag it? I thought it wouldn't fit in the elevator, so the poor guy had to bring it himself. All the way up to the 12th floor? This office. 1203, 1203. Hey Maggie, whose room is this again? It's Mr. Portsmouth, sir. So it's my new neighbour, I say. I suppose he moved in while I was away overseas. Right. Is everything alright? Yes, sir. If you must know, I weighed myself this morning and I'm finally at £154. Congratulations, but I was asking about this hallway and this room. Oh, everything's okay, sir. Word of advice, stay focused or you may start to lose even more weight. It looks like you're in quite the pinch, Mr. Edgeworth. To be sure, murder within the walls of prosecutor's office is no trifling matter. We must find, apprehend, and punish the killer accordingly. Post haste! Sounds like a messy case you've got on your hands. If you ever feel lost or need some advice, my door is always open. Oh gracious, I would keep your offer in mind. Who is this guy again? I don't like him. He sucks. I was wondering if I speak with you for a bit concerning this case. I've always been a big fan of the courtroom, but this is like a dream where I'm being cross-examined by the Miles Edgeworth. I can't let this chance pass me by. I must remember to ask her about the master key. I should jog her memory by showing my notes to her with why. Have you ever met the victim before? Well, I've seen him a couple of times before when I had to go to Mr. Portsmouth's office. Mr. Faith is always playing basketball with Mr. Portsmouth, sir. That sounds like fun. Just once I'd love to have played with them. Sounds fun, but the only person ever taking a shot was Mr. Portsmouth. All Mr. Faith ever did was passing the ball, sir. On second thought, I don't think I'd have fit in all that well with them. Miss Maggie Bird, is it correct? I take it that you were an acquaintance of the detective? She was under my supervision back when she was still on the force, sir. One day she got caught up in a murder and things started going downhill, so she quit. Sorry about that, I had an itch ear. But I owe a lot to Detective Gumshoe for introducing me to my current employer. so I thought until a few hours ago, right before I was about to clock out for the night. You got caught up in this whirlwind of a case, correct? Don't worry, my whole life has been nothing but a whirlwind of bad luck and failures. Since I was 6 months old when I fell from the 9th floor of my apartment building. What? I've been hit by all sorts of vehicles, gotten sick from all sorts of foods, failed at almost every test I've taken, experienced almost every kind of disaster, and now I even managed to be named a criminal, just when I become a security guard. That's a lot to go through in one lifetime. Bloody hell, fell over 9th floor. I know, and just when I thought I'd finally found my happiness, I wound up getting you and Detective Gumshoe involved in my bad luck. You don't need to worry about me, Miss Bird, nor do you need to worry about yourself. I will solve this case and prove your innocence. All I ask in return is your cooperation. Right. So when did you discover that Master Key was missing? By the time I realised, I think it was around 1 AM, sir, and I noticed it was back around 2:30 AM. I was just sitting there on the ledge when It was sitting there on the ledge where the security room section window is. I'm sure that between those 2 times it was not just gone but stolen, sir. Why would you keep such an important key just lying around? There you go. That's not like that, sir. You always keep the key further inside the room away from the window. Always, you say, except for this time, correct? Well, I admit that it was a bit careless, but I had my reasons. I left it out because I was sort of using it at the time. It was after I had used it that I left it sitting out on the ledge. Why did you use it? What did you mean by you used the master key? Oh, I had used it to open the door for this prosecutor who had forgotten his key. Means my job as a security guard, right? Ah, what is it? That's right, just remembered. The prosecutor who forgot his key. It was Mr. Portsman, sir. What? Please tell me more, Miss Bird, quickly. It was around 12 AM. Mr. Portsman forgot his officer key, so he came down to security, sir. And that's when you loaned the master key to him? No way, it's against regulations to loan the master key out to anyone. I walked with Mr. Portsman to his office and opened the door for him personally, sir. I see. And then? What happened after that? Well, he called for me to come close up his office as he was leaving to go home. That was around 1:30 AM, I think. So in summary, for the sake of one forgetful prosecutor, you used the master key twice tonight. Talk about suspicious! I doubt you can say that you've never left your keys at home, Detective. I think this calls for a thorough examination of Mr. Portsman's door. Don't rest until I've inspected every suspicious-looking nook and cranny. So why would he want 1202 to get them files? Good. It was locked tight. But the old credit card trick wouldn't work here, Mr. Edgeworth. This is Office of a High Prosecutor, Detective. These doors would be pretty ineffective if the average cat burglar could get through them. Aha! So I guess only a great cat burglar could get in. That must be who our culprit is. Might I advise you to return that conclusion to whatever pawn shop you bought it from? Okay, well, so why am I inspecting it? Oh. That's it, Mr. Payne. That's that stupid, crappy. Oh, there's something I'm missing, isn't there? Signs of forced entry, and according to the guard, no signs that the lock was picked either, so... Meaning the door really was open with a key. Did you happen to ask if any prints were lifted from the doorknob? Apparently the doorknob's clean as a whistle. Wiped, I think. Whoever the thief is, they did a good job of not leaving any clues behind. Suspicious. So it's very suspicious. So, can I go back and look at his... Yeah, so I've looked at his door. Maybe? Miss Bird, I'm afraid there's a flaw in your story. What? No way, pal. I mean, sir. You said that you locked Mr. Portman's office at around 1:30 AM, correct? However, the master key had already been stolen at that time. Wow, nothing gets by you, Mr. Edgeworth. You saw that contradiction like a pro. I'd totally forgotten all about that, but thanks to you, I remember it now. You're right, it was around that very time that I realised the master key was missing, and... Well, I'm security guard, sir. I couldn't just admit to losing the master key, could I? So I pretended to lock up his room, sir. You pretended? Yeah, I used my house key. I made it look like I was locking up, sir. So in actuality, he never did relock the door then. So why is his door locked? Well, I thought that maybe I could go lock it after I found the key. Come to think of it, I guess the door still hasn't been locked properly. Oh, God's sake. It is. Hey? Oh, I just clicked on the picture of it, that's why. There's a contradiction here between reality and the evidence. If what Miss Bird has said is true, then why is this door locked tight? Huh? You know, you're right. Miss Bird, are you sure you didn't re-lock this door? I'm certain of it, sir. And I don't think Mr. Portsmouth noticed it himself that I hadn't. Which means, what, sir? It either means that he actually does have the key to his office, or that the door Miss Bird opened wasn't this one at all, but a completely different one. He moved the plates, did he? She opened a different door, but how can you prove that? There's an easy way to find out. All we need to do is... Print on the number plate? Print on the number plate, they would tell us all we need to know. Everything? Really? Like what, sir? Like, well, for example... Oh, what? I thought that was it. I thought we'd look for fingerprints because the plates were moved. need to examine these. The print on the doorknob will tell us everything. There's no need for such belligerent nostril flaring, detective. So, I found only Mr. Portman's and Mr. Faith's prints on this doorknob. 22 people's prints were found on this, huh? That's pretty decisive. Huh? I'm lost, sir. Thinking logically, a certain other person's print should be on this knob as well. Now then, whose print? Oh, don't need to.
Take that!
Don't you find it odd that the prints of the person who unlocked this door are absent? You mean... Yes, the door Miss Bird opened could not have been this one, but a different one. None over here. Alright, rest. I don't need to read that out. What's this? What is this? Looks like a scrap of paper. I'll get it, sir. Let's see. Oh, there's something written on it. I bought the 3 pieces of evidence by, just like we talked about on the phone, but it looks like you're out. Guess I'll catch up to you later, buddy. What's this? What are you looking at, sir? Oh, hey, how about a game? That's okay, detective. I just found the position of this hoop to be a little off. Hey, you're right, sir. I guess it shifted when someone made a seriously sweet slam dunk. The positioning of the hoop is definitely unnatural. I'd better take note of this. We got that one bit wrong. Poking around in this hallway has actually paid off quite handsomely, huh? How so, sir? In a variety of different ways. I think it's time we had a little chat with the real culprit of this case. You know who the killer is? Wow, Mr. Edgeworth. As long as my logic is sound, then yes, the mastermind behind this murder is none other than Mr. Portsman. I knew it, that's exactly what my logic senses were telling me too. I suspected it was him from the instant he accused Maggie of being the serial killer. That is anything but logical. Lady and gentlemen, prepare yourselves. Come what may, it's time to knock on truth's door. March 14, 5:12 AM, High Prosecutor's Office, room 1202. Mr. Portsman, I've finished processing the bloody letter, sir. Alright, let me take a gander at it. Pass it here. Okay, looking good. You there, taking care of this. Well, if it isn't Detective Gumshoe. Another line for you, Portsman. We've got you now. Call off your dog, Mr. Edgeworth. This is some kind of joke. It's no joke. We know, Mr. Jacques Portman, that you are the guilty party in this case. You must be pretty upset getting chased out of your own room. I'd be mad too. So I guess you can stay if you promise to stay out of the way. You intend to hide your crime under the guise of a prosecutor doing his job. You can see right through the unsightly paper-thin mask you wear upon your cowl. Ha! Who'd have ever thought it would come to this? Actually, come to think of it, your mentor was Manfred von Karma, right? A legendary prosecutor who never lost a single case for 40 long years. There was always this incessant chatter about forged evidence with that guy. Really teaches me that I've got to stay on the lookout for false accusations, you know? You didn't try to play mind games with me because they won't work. Anything you should be using, that mouth of yours for now is explaining yourself. Although, that too will only dig your hole deeper. Either way, your game is up. Well, aren't we full of ourselves, even though you have yet to prove anything? No idea what sort of harebrained idea you have in mind, but there's a mountain of evidence that points away from me being the culprit. Besides, how may I ask do you propose I unlocked your door and got in here? Look, I feel bad doing this to you, but I've got work to do, so we're done here. Not quite. Sorry, but we are not finished yet. Boy, you're stubborn. I suppose you're basing your accusations on something. I'll show you what I'm basing my accusation on. With evidence. I was thinking of...
Hold it!
We'll just press this bit. Unfortunately, I believe I've already shown how earlier. The speculations mean nothing against us. I still insist that I could not gain access to your room. What should I do now? Should I raise an objection? Objection! You claim to have no way to open my door. However, is that really the honest truth? Haha, right. I'll humour you. Go ahead, shoot. Very well then. I propose that you use this to open my door.
Take that!
Sorry, 1 second.
Objection!
The master key. Wait, hold on for a sec. I never laid a finger on that key, as you already know. Precisely. You were able to open my door without lifting a single finger. Well, maybe you did, but only to direct. Sweating there, are we? That's right. Use your finger to direct this person to open my door with a key.
Take that!
You had asked Miss Bird to open your own office door for you, yes? Yeah, you kind of forgot my key at home. Happens a bit too often for my taste, you know. But the room you had Miss Bird open at that time was not your own, was it? What? You have quite the imagination. But why don't we ask the girl herself whose door she opened, shall we? I'm certain that it was Mr. Portson's door, sir. I checked the number plate to make sure I was opening the right door. See? Miss Bird backs up my story. Yet, what if you had misled her? I thought it was misled. M-I-S-L-E-D. Not L-E-A-D, because wouldn't that be mislead? And I just suppose I did that. By switching the number plates on our doors, for example. That's right. They do slide out pretty easily. Furthermore, you then use one other thing to give a very strong impression that the door she was opening was yours and not, in fact, mine. It was... Boom, boom, boom.
Take that!
This. Well, the basketball hoop, sir. It's quite the peculiar fixture in any hallway, let alone a hallway in this building, which is why it left an unusually strong impression on you. It's an object perfectly suited to sit outside the office of a peculiar prosecutor. That's very true, sir. Because there was a basketball hoops in there, I thought the door I was opening had to be Mr. Portsman's. There are signs that the hoop has been moved. This is in front of my office, to be sure. I see, so that's how you throw suspicion on people. Thanks for the tip, but I think your conjecture is a little off the racetrack. Now you're just spouting nonsense. I had the girl open my office door. After that, it was in my room the entire time. You don't have a single reason to suspect me. I know. Miss Bird is as dirty and guilty as the jacket she wears. My jacket's not dirty, I'll have you know. I just washed it yesterday. Please calm down, for I intend to show who is the one truly covered in slime here.
Hold it!
Just do a bit of pressing before we show evidence. Using the master key, of course. Sure. You have a problem with that? That is what the master key is for, right? Perhaps we should place it in an elaborate labyrinth of some sort of people like you. After that, I was in my room the entire time. And what were you doing in your office? I was doing my usual training regimen. Training regimen? Were you going through your law books from start to finish? Mainly batting practice and some weights. Oh, and I jog when I get a chance. Wow, you must be the buffest prosecutor we have. With the weakest legal muscles, it would seem. I was doing my usual workout, so...
Objection!
Objection. That was a lie. What are you talking about? That was a lie. This is a note that the victim left for you, Mr. Portsman. A note? It was left under your door, or did you not notice? And right here it says, "But you're out." You were not in your room and the victim came to call on you. So then where were you and what were you doing? Shall I explain it in full detail for you? You were busy snooping around in my room, the very room you had Miss Bird open for you. That's just nonsense. You have no evidence that I made the girl open your door for me. Oh, but I do. I have very decisive evidence. No way. This is proof positive that you Miss Bird opened the door for you.
Take that!
I hid your door just for Prince. My door? Ha! What for? Come on, I bet you didn't find anything. You sure are good at wasting time? You're right, I didn't find anything, and definitely not Miss Bird's fingerprints. Her prints? What do they have to do with anything? Let's put it this way, if she really was the one who opened your door, then her print should naturally be on the doorknob she touched. Further, all of the prints on my office door's knob have been wiped clean. I can only assume it's because Miss Bird's fingerprints were on it. Don't you think it's time you gave up your charade? We know you stole into my office with the intent of stealing something from me, and Detective Faith found you out, possibly because he had sounds coming from a room whose occupant was on leave. Mr. Portsman, you killed Mr. Faith to silence him. And I had the misfortune to return when I did. You had to threaten me as you escaped. As I said, when you had the gun to my back, no one gets away with committing murder in my office. Yeah, what's so funny? Wow, that look of seriousness on the face of this office's finest prosecutor as he makes a huge mistake and accuses me is simply too much to bear. There's just nothing else like it in the world. What? Mr. Edgeworth just explained it all and he even backs it up. You're the murderer. Stop trying to be slippery and just admit to the crime already. As I said earlier, it's also circumstantial, so full of conjecture. You say you checked my doorknob for prints? Well, I can readily confess that I had wiped that knob damn well. I'm a little obsessive compulsive, you see. I didn't want to touch a doorknob that you had touched. Which which is why I wiped the knob down as soon as I could after you opened the door. After that, it makes perfect sense that any gyms and my imprints would be on there. You made that up just now, didn't you? Furthermore, as for the no gym left for me, do you know exactly when that was? For all we know, could have left it there before I arrived at the office. Like, early evening, for example. You're saying you failed to notice a note in your doorway? Hey, even geniuses fail at times. Oh, bloody hell. It was bright sunshine earlier and now it's raining. That's just a flat out lie. There's no way you didn't notice a note that size. Ah, but you can't prove that, can you? Say something, Mr. Edgeworth. Back me up here, sir. Porter makes a good point. I can't prove that he didn't simply overlook it. Besides, I have an airtight alibi. Airtight, you say? I only just realised I had one as we were talking. Guess it would have been better for all of us if I had told you sooner. Here we go, some made up. My research came back to this office around 2 AM, correct? And it was then that you had that unfortunate confrontation at gunpoint with the culprit. At exactly that time I was down in criminal affairs. Ask around, I'm sure the other detectives will corroborate my story. It's a perfect alibi. Do you really think it's that perfect? Like I said, I don't care. Ask around all you like, you'll see for yourself. Detective Gumshoe? Sir, yes sir, I'll go check the coyote's alibi, sir. Be right back. No, Mr. Edgeworth, sir. I think we're all in trouble. It's just like Mr. Portsman said. The guys down in criminal affairs said they saw him around 2 AM. You see? All of the evidence points to him being the culprit, so there must be a contradictory point in his alibi somewhere. Sorry. My researcher came back to this office at 2 AM, correct? And it was then that you had that unfortunate confrontation at gunpoint with the culprit. Why am I going through this again? Sorry about that, I was talking to the wife. Let's press! You are correct, it was around 2 AM. Are you sure? It's really important to me that you're spot on with the time. I remember checking my watch then and make no mistake, it was 2. Ooh, giving testimony like a pro. Okay, so you came back to the office at 2.
Hold it!
It is as you say, however. Yes, however, you're the only one who claims to have bumped into the culprit. Tell me, did you see the person's face? Was it me who you saw? It was pitch black, so I couldn't actually see. Oh, come now, I'm sure you saw something. Try a little harder, why don't you? I'm beginning to feel like I'm the one being interrogated here. Oh well, it doesn't matter if you remember or not. It only matters that you ran into the culprit. Oh, it's only cool.
Hold it!
So you paid the Criminal Affairs Department a visit? Yep, right after I left the prosecutor's building, I headed straight for the precinct. Ask around, I'm sure the other detectives will corroborate my story. It's a perfect alibi. Pete! Stop! Well, we did go and ask around to confirm your testimony, and it was just as I said, right? Yes, sir. A number of detectives said that they saw you at around that time. See? The perfect alibi. That's an ace I had up my sleeve. Impossible. He actually does have the perfect alibi. There's got to be something. Is there nothing I can do? There must be a way to turn the situation around. If I only had a clue. Did I miss something that can help me cast doubts on his alibi? I need to calmly think this through one more time, and with logic. Oh, that worked. Evidence points to cells being disturbed once before and once after the murder, but who's to say that the person who did it at the second time is the same as the first? Which could mean that there was another person who paid a visit to my office tonight. Oh, Pete! Bloody dog. Climbing all over me stuff. If indeed there were two culprits, then that resolves the contradiction behind our murder weapon. Despite the fact that there are two bullets here in this room, the murder weapon only shows signs of being fired once, leaving the possibility that the other bullet was fired from the other visitor's gun. Furthermore, we suppose that the second culprit's gun was the one that was pointed at my back.
Objection!
Objection. Mr. Potter, it seems that I need to amend my assumptions regarding this case. Great, so you finally come to your senses. Mr. Edgeworth. Sir, what are you saying? There's been a big misunderstanding on my part from the start. I'd assume that the person I ran into was the killer, but that may not be the case. What do you mean? The person I ran into was just your average thief. A thief? But sir, doesn't that cause some sort of contradiction in the facts? Not at all. It simply means that the killer was someone else. And it means that in actuality, two culprits stole into my office tonight. What do you mean, two? It explains both why my shells were disturbed twice and how there were two guns. Mr. Portsman tricked Miss Bird and gained entry into my office. Now you're just leading the argument. You still don't have any actual proof, you know. If you could please go along my hypothetical scenario for now, Mr. Portsman. In the end, if you really are innocent, you should have nothing to worry about. Now then, returning to my scenario, Mr. Portsman was out to steal something from me, which is why he checked my secret safe and ransacked my shell. This is the first time. So then this would be when the files were put back in the wrong order, right? Correct. And then just as he was about to look somewhere else, who should walk in but his own partner, Mr. Faith? Why did Mr. Faith come into your room, sir? Probably had business with Mr. Portsmouth, which is why he was in the area. That's when he noticed sounds coming from my office, would be my guess. Oh, because you were supposed to be away, right? And he must have thought it was odd, so he came into this office to check it out. Correct. And as a detective, that was the right thing to do. When he came in, he found his own partner standing there. Because it was Mr. Portsman, Mr. Faith probably let his guard down. But Mr. Portsman was not so merciful as to let him leave alive. He waited for a chance and stole Mr. Faith's gun from him, and then he killed him. He silenced Mr. Faith for catching him in the act of stealing. This was the moment in which the first shot was fired. Damn it, the one that landed in my files. Following that, Mr. Portsman wiped the gun down and left it behind as he made his exit. He could afford to do that because he had also left the fake dime message behind. You're such a complicated troublemaker, you know that? Well, if things were as simple as that, then all would be solved. However, there was yet another visitor to my room, and this is where it gets complicated. There was another visitor, sir? Yes, and this other person's objective was also to steal something from me. Now then, even after Mr. Portsman left, the door to my office remained unlocked. However, this new visitor had no way of knowing that, and so they stole the master key from the security guard's room, then entered my room and searched through my shelves. This was the second time they were disturbed, and it seems the thief found their prize. The stolen zero file, right, sir? Correct. Only just as the thief was about to leave with the file, I appeared. The thief then threatened me with their own gun and made their escape. The second bullet was fired during that brief encounter. So the shells getting messed up twice on the two bullets, it was all because two different people were doing those things at two different times. Precisely, said no DC, Mr. Portsman. The person I met was just a thief and was not in fact Mr. Face Killer. Your alibi for the time frame in which I ran into the other person is now irrelevant, because we now know that the murder took place during the first culprit's visit. The only issue with that is, you gotta prove it's two separate times. Scenario explains everything. Of course it does, it's Mr. Edgeworth after all. But you know, still doesn't change the fact that it's all circumstantial. Supposing if, and that's a big if, your theory is right, it would indeed render my alibi, which has withstood scrutiny, mind you, irrelevant. But there is still one defining point of your argument for which you have still have no evidence. Your supposition that I was the first visitor. But yeah, as a point, I have absolutely no proof at this point. Don't say that, sir. I don't believe this. Don't worry, Maggie. I'll do something if I must. You know something? I find your attitude to be somewhat peculiar, Mr. Edgeworth. The person you met really was just a plain old thief. Then why is that person not your main suspect? That is, if your theory is correct. Now, the thief you ran into should be your real suspect, wouldn't you say? We should be out there looking for that thief right now. That might still be nearby. I hate to repeat myself, but as I already said, I was training in my room. When Jim had to deliver some evidence to me, I was down at Criminal Affairs. So I can't be expected to know what happened around here after I left. Do you think we should be out there looking for the thief? Of course. Now isn't the time to be having these dead-end discussions. I don't think it's all dead-ended. I find your alibi to be fascinating. Let's continue where we left off, shall we? Just gotta find a way to prove it.
Hold it!
Actually, no, I wouldn't. Why not? That's elementary. The dime message, of course. Mr. Face Killer very clearly left those letters on the spines of those files. And it was after they were on there that the thief stole one of them. You mean the zero files, right? And that's how we also know the letters themselves were set up, and not from Mr. Faith. If the thief was the killer, do you think they would try to undermine themselves? Maybe the killer just didn't think of that either. Yes, that must be it. Maybe, just maybe. Once escaped, I highly doubt a thief would linger nearby. Well, you never know. Maybe they didn't get what they were really after. Oh? You talk like you know quite a bit about this thief. Ah, it's nothing like that. I have no idea about anything after all.
Hold it!
According to Mr. Faith's note... Hold on, I thought we already cleared that up. Didn't we say that Jim left that note for me in the early evening? If you have proof that he left it at different times, say just before he was murdered. I don't have any, no. You see, so I insist again that it was in... So I was in my office the entire time. When Jim cancelled his summit to me, he was down at Criminal Affairs. Why didn't you go there with Mr. Faith? Ah, that's because he said he was tired and was going to take a quick nap. You know, there's sofas in the hallway, he likes to sleep on those. It's one of his habits. What of the evidence he bought? They were things related to yesterday's case, just 2 items, a gun and a pendant. Interesting, this piece of testimony seems too crucial to let slip through the cracks. Got me 2 items, a gun and a pendant.
Hold it!
A gun and a pendant? Yes, this gun, which was the murder weapon. And this pendant, which belonged to the victim. Why were you taking them to Criminal Affairs? There was something in a past case file. I wanted to compare these files. These two. But all this has nothing to do with this case right now. Anyway, I believe you find the long paper trail I left to be to your satisfaction. This is all matching up with what Detective Gunshoe found out.
Hold it!
Can't expect you know, can I? No, but I guess you can expect me to take a guess based on logical deductions. Oh, then let's see you deduce. Jim waited for me to leave and then stole the master key, for the purpose of sneaking into your room, of course. And that's when Mrs. Bird caught him red-handed and the murder occurred. It's all exactly as I laid out earlier. I know he's lying, I know he was there at the scene of the crime. Three pieces.
Objection!
Objection. Only 2 pieces. I believe the proper phase here is you fail. Excuse me? You fail as a prosecutor, Mr. Portsman, as you intend to keep evidence hidden from me. What are you talking about? I haven't hidden anything from you. Oh, here's a piece I think you should read carefully. Ah, it says that Mr. Faith is bringing 3 pieces. Yes, and this is the victim's real dime message to you, Mr. Portsman. I can't believe it, to get tripped up by simple arithmetic. Where's the missing piece of evidence? It's... You have it, don't you? Only the guilty would make such a face. Detective Gumshoe? You don't have to say it, sir. I'll pat the guy down from head to toe. But don't come any closer, I'm warning you. This is all part of the investigation, pal, so don't even think about stopping me. No. Hey, what's this? He had this on him, sir. Despite what you said, it would appear that you do have something to hide. Why would he hide something like that? God, I don't want cheap viewers. Bugger off. I've deleted. I swear I just banned you. Yeah, I did. There's only one reason why anyone would hide evidence in this caliber, because it would unequivocally point to that person himself as the real killer. Examine this video, type in a little more detail for the section of the tape that would drive the last nail into his coffin. Ah, that's blood, isn't it? Yes, and I believe this is what the good prosecutor was trying to hide from us. This blood is still fresh. You mean this might be Detective Faith's blood? No amount of denial could save you. We have but to run a blood test to find the truth. You told us that you received evidence from the victim earlier. Now you will tell us when and how did the victim's blood find its way into this video? Yeah, it's totally suspicious. Was it at the moment of his death? Did Detective 5 have this videotape on his personage when you killed him? You know very well there's no way to prove that. And not even if we were to examine this tape for fingerprints. But to take a guess, I'd say that the only ones on here would belong to the murderous you and Mr. Fake. What the hell? Mr. Portsman was to be placed under arrest for the murder of Detective Buddyface, sir. Very good. And the results we got back from the lab techs on the tape turned out to be real solid, sir. The blood work came back and it was definitely Mr. Face's blood on there. And as a bonus, they were also able to lift a few of Mr. Face's fingerprints as well. Thank you so very much, Mr. Edgeworth. I still can't believe I got to see your cool deduction skills outside the courtroom. I'm impressed beyond words, sir. It was nothing. I'm just sorry you got caught up in a murder in my office. Please accept my apologies. It's not his fault. It's not his fault, is it? Oh, it was nothing really. Compared to what I've been through, I mean. I consider myself lucky that it was only a burglary and a murder this time, sir. If it had been a hold-up or a hostage situation, I'd have thrown my hands up in the air. I think I've finally risen up from a goddess of misfortune to just an unlucky person. Something tells me we should have hired a different person for security detail. You know something, sir? That Mr. Portsmouth really was one corrupt prosecutor. Why would you say he was corrupt? Well, I heard that there were a number of suspicious things related to his court cases. There's even rumours about how some of the evidence he uses is forged, sir. Forged evidence, huh? And they say he even decided not to prosecute a few cases for some really vague reasons. Ooh, that guy was a complete disgrace to the entire profession. We never did get around to asking what his reason was for breaking into my office. Yeah, never got near that topic, he just clammed up. Although we can be pretty certain that he was to steal something. This is just between me and you, sir, but there's a rumour that some sort of huge organisation is involved behind the scenes. Oh? Well, well. Mr. Portsman not willing to divulge anything, it certainly lends credence to that rumour. It would seem that we haven't heard the last of this. Huh? Then Mr. Portsman isn't the bad guy. I didn't say that, but rather that there are still many more mysteries for us to solve. For example, we still haven't figured out the significance to this piece of evidence.
Take that!
The person who stole this file, the other villain of the night. Yeah, I wonder who it was. What happened to the stolen pages? I wonder, who in the world was it that held me up at gunpoint? Mr. Edgeworth, sir. Yes? I came across this while I was processing your office earlier, sir. This card? What is it, sir? Is that a bird or something on there? It's not just any bird. It is the mark of the raven, a three-legged raven. Even you should know what this is, detective. Oh, it's about that thing, isn't it? That great thief everyone's talking about. Yes, it is the mark of the great thief, Yatagarasu. Under the mark of the legendary bird, the Yatagarasu is noble to the end, a modern Robin Hood. Labelled mysterious and phantom-like, the Yatagarasu appears and vanishes at will. We don't know much about this thief's ultimate goal, we do know the targets. The Yatagarasu likes to find and make public evidence of corrupt dealings of all sorts. The theft is always performed in silence and always with perfection. Once the target is chosen, no dramatic calling card or announcement is sent forth. It said the chosen corporation is infiltrated without even the target noticing. Some days later, the evidence that was found is sent out to the mass media, along with this single card. Although it has been a while since Yatagarasu's last appearance. Hey, Mr. Edgeworth, look, something's written on the back. What? Let me see. It's a occasion of where the thief put the stolen files. So the person who stole the contents of the file was the Yatagarasu. Yatagarasu organisation. Quite a few keywords are popping up in this mystery. The murder in my office. The return of the great thief Yatagarasu. Looking back, I can't say I didn't see these events coming. But they were heralded by the incidents that began to occur 2 days ago. The end. And there we go. And we've got 5 overall. And episode 2, we got episode 1, Turnabout Visitor. These are kind of easy ones where it kind of guides you. The first ones to show you how the rest of the game will proceed. We've also got Turnabout Airlines, Kidnap Turnabout, Turnabout Reminiscence, and Turnabout Ablaze. So there's 5 overall. We have finished the first one. It is as good as I remember it. It's very fun. And then what I'm thinking of doing is maybe doing an episode, a stream. And next time we have Turnabout Airlines. I think next time out we will have more opportunity to roam about and look for things. The first one was kind of a bit limited, but that is because it's kind of the tutorial case. But yeah, hopefully you have enjoyed this, because I've enjoyed it a lot, and I will be back next time for episode 2, Turnabout Airlines. I will also be doing a stream with the new Dead Rising remaster, because I'll be getting that soon. And then I do have Silent Hill Downpour that I want to start. So, lots of things to come. But if you have enjoyed this, please follow me here on Twitch. If you're watching this on YouTube, come over to my Twitch and follow. Also, like, comment, subscribe, and all that wonderful stuff. Then if you're on Twitch, go over to my YouTube channel and watch some of my other stuff. But, yeah, that is it from me. And I shall see you guys in the next stream. Have a good day, have a good afternoon, have a good evening, or have a good night, and I shall see you guys next time for Turnabout Airlines. See you later. Bye bye.